Your man Don McKay in here, Radio on Fire, the Don McKay Show, special edition, the Don McKay Show, weekend edition, and we're gonna have a jam-packed day today. So if you miss anything, Radio on Fire is where you go. But today's block of programming is something that you're not going to want to miss. Something that you're not going to want to miss. Well, it depends on who you are. Let me say that. Depends on who you are as to whether or not this is something that you're going to want to miss. As I said, Radio on Fire, Don McKay at the Don McKay Show at Radio on Fire. So some people are upset, right? And when some people get upset, oftentimes you may want to look at why they're upset, right? So people, sympathizers to the loser cause of the Confederacy, they're upset. And they've been upset. I mean, let's think about this. They lost the war, right? And in some kind of weird, perverted way, sympathizers, because that's what they are. They're sympathizers to the treacherous Confederate cause. And they've had monuments still up, flags still flying. And when I say monuments, I mean statues, the such. This is all of them. Daughters of the Confederacy and all that other loser crap, right? But for some strange reason, when I say strange reason, it's not really a strange reason. We know what the reason is, and we are going to talk about that. So, the death of George Floyd has reignited this movement to strip away some of the symbolic, the symbolism of the racism and the oppression that has just echoed throughout this country, consistently echoed throughout this country. And some people are mad about that. Now, if you're someone who has been the benefactor of white supremacy, the benefactor of the symbolism, I still don't see why you're upset. Because we're talking about symbolism, right? And the symbolism of the Confederate flag, what it represents, it's ironic that defenders of the Confederate flag are trying to say, oh, well, that's not what it means. It's about heritage, right? It's about my Southern heritage. Yes, and a part of that Southern heritage, if you are a flyer, that flag, while it did not historically represent the Confederate States of America, not the flag that we're talking about with the X on the front, right? That battle flag it represents that loser cause, right? Known as the rebel flag. It is highly divisive and polarizing, to say the least, but it is also a loser representation of racism and white supremacy, and therefore it has to go. It should have been gone. Right? Should have been gone. Now, a lot of people may or may not know, but many flags of the individual states that made up the Confederacy, many of their flags kind of tie in to the actual Confederate flag. Because you had a couple of different versions of this. The version of the flag that people are talking about, the one that has the X on it, that second flag, the stainless banner, right? It is something that has to go. It has to go. So there have been so many, iterations of this crappy flag. So they had it on the battlefield, and just a lot of other things. But we don't have to get into the semantics of whether they adopted it as their flag or whether they didn't. They flew the piece of crap flag, and some people are still trying to hold on to it. And if you're trying to hold on to it, you're trying to hold on to it because you feel that it is a symbolism of white supremacy and you can't let it go. But it is time to not only remove the statues, not only remove the flags, but take the Confederate names off of U.S. Army bases. These are all steps in stripping away this racist structure and symbolism in order to create true laws that represent equality for all citizens. Right? This is a treacherous cause and a loser cause. Eventually, the names of traitors like Benning and Bragg, their names are going to be removed from these important military bases. Because America's not a loser country. So taking the names of the losers that were associated with these bases, that's not going to make the base not an amazing base. It's not going to reflect badly on our soldiers. What reflects badly on our soldiers is that they're in a base that a loser, treacherous cause is attached to, whether they realize it or not. Having the names of some of these pieces of human feces attached to them sends a bad, it just puts bad vibes on there. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. And so these monuments have to go. And in some instances, they're not waiting for the Congress to, and do a whole bunch of crap. In some instances, people are literally taking action, because that's what needs to happen. People are taking action because sometimes the slow-moving government just moves too slow. And when government moves too slow, people have to take things into their own hands sometimes. Okay, the expiration date for the Confederacy has been expired. It is smoldering and it is stinking. Protesters pulled down a century-old statue of the traitor Jefferson Davis in the former capital of the Confederacy. Years later, they still tried to raise up these traitors. And even in Richmond, which, as I said, was the former capital of the Confederacy, the band of traitors, that's where their base was, right? That's where their whole movement was centered, right? And that doesn't mean that the city of Richmond is not a great place, right? My mother and grandmother were born not far from Richmond, so I know the area very well. And just because the loser Confederates are on their last leg, they're running and they're on their last leg, and I can't wait until it is all gone, right? They're still trying to hold on to their remnants of what they feel. But the people that are making this debate, you really need to reevaluate what you're saying. You can't make that flag mean something else now. You can't say, oh no, it represents my heritage. Yes, but if your heritage is rooted in white supremacy and rooted in racism, it's time you trade up and get a new damn heritage. And if you still want to hold on to these treacherous ideals, something's wrong with you, because the world is changing around you. No longer are people going to stand by idly while these representations, these visual representations of white supremacy, these visual representations of hate, these visual representations of a lost cause just sit around, because these symbols get in small-minded people's heads into thinking that things are a different way, a way that they used to be in the past. It ain't like that no more. It ain't like that no more. So that's what's happening right now, and people are mad about it. And here's the thing: it's nothing that you can do about it. It's going to happen. You might as well go with it. I mean, you can stand on the corner and you can hold on to the statue of this Confederate traitor and that Confederate traitor, but they're all going to go. They're all going to go. And it's been a long time coming, and I, for one, am glad to see it happen. Glad to see it happen. These monuments of the Old South, right? When they say hold on to their heritage, they want to go back to a time when black people was in line. So they thought, right? So when he says make America great again, it is a dog whistle to people like this. People that want to hold on to the old things, right? The old way. Yes, sir, master. That all that stuff is gone, done, never to return. And I keep saying it. If you can try to slow roll it, right? But it's going to happen anyway. So you might as well accept what is happening, because we have reached a point of no return. And as I said, it has been a long time coming. So the bronze figure on Richmond's Grand Monument Avenue has all been marked for removal by city leaders in a matter of weeks, right? They were doing things a slow way that they normally do it, take a long time. People was like, nah. When earlier this week, Wednesday to be exact, tied ropes around his leg and pulled that piece of crap down to the pavement. Crowds cheered, and police looked on as the monument, installed by a Confederate heritage group in 1907, the Jim Crow era, was towed away. Out of here. Bye, loser. Yeah, so things like that are going to continue to happen. You have other monuments that were, vandalized. Nobody was arrested. I mean, because they didn't do nothing wrong. I mean, in Germany, I just don't understand this mentality of people that are trying. Even NASCAR has said that they're not rocking with that loser flag anymore. Can't fly the flag. And I, as I said, for one, am happy to see that. Now, I wish that it didn't take the death of George Floyd for this to get back in vogue. Now, some people say they're just statues, they're just monuments. What is that going to change? Some people are going to say that. Okay, let me say this to you. 90% of every battle is mental. You take away these physical monuments, take away the names off the bases, you strip away these things, and then slowly you change the mindset of people. Some of those old rebels, old thinking, people that want to hold on to the time when white people just ran things and everybody wasn't equal. As we slowly strip away these visual reminders and these mental reminders and change things legally, corporations not hiding behind this stuff, the army not hiding behind this stuff, things are going to change because the wave of change is going in that direction. So no, as long as they want to hold on to it, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter because these things are changing. You know, it's like the people that wanted to keep riding a horse, but the car was coming, right? No, I want to hold on to the heritage of my horse, and riding a horse was my heritage, right? There's people that were saying that. There's people that were saying, I want to still ride a horse. No, I don't want this car. What is this thing, right? But the car was coming, whether you wanted it or not. So yeah, some people still rode their horse and didn't give a damn, and then eventually, they died off or they accepted the inevitable. And the inevitable is the Confederacy, white supremacy, racism is going to go. It's going to go. You're going to be outnumbered. Mindset is everybody's going to be treated equal eventually. And of course, then the battle becomes what it also is, the complexity of things, the rich and the poor. Different battle for a different day. But I'm saying Confederacy, the Confederate Monuments, all of the treacherous, treasonous losers. And I said loser because you had a cause and you lost. You said that black people were inferior, and they're not. They're dominating in many fields and just as good as any other person. So that's a loser mentality. It's a loser ideology. It's a loser philosophy. It is hate-filled, and it has to go. And it is going. Now, the president says he doesn't want to rename bases. It's going to happen. I'm telling you. Watch it. It's going to happen. And when those bases get renamed to some real American patriots, it's going to be a good day. Good day for the country, good day for the world. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Dom McKay Show, at Radio on Fire. As I said, a jam-packed set of broadcasts today. In a few hours, I'm going to be joined by the Republican nominee for the mayorship in Baltimore. So this is Brandon Scott's Republican opponent. She's going to join us on the program. We're going to talk to her, Shannon Wright, and a lot of other things. Later on today, The Dom McKay Show, Radio on Fire, at The Dom McKay Show, at Radio on Fire. Miss any episodes of the show, you can always subscribe to youtube.com/DJ Diamond K. I will see you guys later on today. As I said, jam-packed set of broadcasts on Radio on Fire.